This from Jordan Bianchi at The Athletic. And the big one for the industry side of things is that NASCAR is out at Mexico City. This does not mean that it's forever, but for 2026, the Mexico City race will not occur. It's been a one and done, and I'm sure there are plenty of spotters as well as others who are very happy to hear that Mexico is not back. It sounds like they were trying to make something happen in the springtime, but they just couldn't do it. Whether that be the week before or after Easter, or if that, say, be maybe later in the season. There is I believe, a soccer tournament or something going on around the summertime that pretty much takes out any of the dates that they wanted to have this race be, which is why it's opened the doors for San Diego. Now, again, I know a lot of people are probably really, really happy about this. I'm looking at the Athletic article right now, and I can see people in the comments. I see people on social media. They're all saying the same types of things like, good, we don't need this many road courses. And to a degree, I get that. But I do think you have to keep in mind that a big part of having Mexico City on the schedule is the same reason that we had the Chicago street race on the schedule, which is not coming back next year. It's the same reason why there's been the push to try and go to Canada. There's the push in the Xfinity series to go to Portland and all of these other new places that a lot of diehard fans are not keen on. It's because of these new fans. We want to expand the sport to other areas. And I will say this, when they did have the race in Mexico, yeah, it was dominated by SVG and that kind of stunk up the show at the end. But between the hype of the race itself and also the Xfinity Series race being won by Daniel Suarez, I can securely tell you that I had a pretty big bump of new viewers, and the big bulk of those, for the most part, from what I can tell in my analytics, were from Mexico. Now, on the other end of it, and I will admit it's why I'm wearing this shirt, it's hard as hell to get it on screen correctly, the Chicagoland Speedway one, is because part of that article that Jordan Bianchi and The Athletic put out is saying Mexico City is out for NASCAR's 2026 schedule, Chicagoland likely in. And yeah, I'm going to fully admit it. I am right now ecstatic. I'm giddy. I am already trying to figure out what dates it could be. And it's probably any date from May to September could fit that. I'm just hoping it's not the 4th of July week, just because honestly, I like spending my 4th of July away from racetracks for the most part. Now, just as I'm about to end this video off, there is another tweet that I had seen, just making sure I was looking through, from Pete Pistone, who said a couple points to add when it came to the Mexico City Chicagoland news. Hearing the July 3rd through 5th weekend is likely where this will land. So, okay, all this stuff I said about I hope it's not that one. Yeah, no, it's probably going to be that one. And they've talked a little bit about the Chicagoland side of it in the article. I'll link the article in the description. But something that's really interesting that caught my eye in this article is that doing so and bringing back Chicagoland Speedway will require capital improvements to the facility, estimated at around $4 million, according to industry sources, a cost NASCAR would have to cover. And he brings up the Carson Hocevar visit to the racetrack and how it's not dilapidated by any means, but you can tell it needs a lot of TLC at this rate. And I will say, from some things that I know, we saw some stuff on Reddit for a bit. I don't know if it's still up, of the scoring pylon on that. There is and has been a concerted effort to put the groundwork in place to improve Chicagoland Speedway so that it's NASCAR ready, so that it's race ready, so that it's just ready for events in general. They had the Super Motocross race in 2023, I believe, and it brought in roughly around 20 to 25,000 fans, which is, I would say, better than a lot of NASCAR events were doing. And trust me, I was there. They were pretty sparse the last 3 or so years. But I will say this, is that I don't think it's going to take all that long to get the track back. from the people I've talked to, from what I know, from people I know in the area that have said there's a lot of congestion in and out of the track when it comes to people going in and out of there and different stuff. I do think that this has been in the mindset of NASCAR for a while. Now, I also will say investing $4 million might not be the same as, say, the street race. That costs a lot more money, but I don't think you put that kind of investment into bringing a track back, into making the track not just race ready, but in a lot of ways, Chicagoland Speedway needs to be ready for the modern era in a lot of different ways. I mean, I was in the infield and there's little to no electricity at the camping areas. They were very run down. The track itself, you could tell, was run down in a lot of ways. And those things need to change. They need to change big time, and you need to update to the modern day. When I went to the Kansas Speedway in 2019, only, I want to say 3 months after I went to Chicagoland, it was night and day different how much better Kansas had its facility. Now, it had been basically facelifted in 2012, but at the same time, you need to start doing those fixes at other tracks. So I don't think that they would put that kind of capital investment in and really bring a track up more, whether it be in amenities, suites, anything like that, if they weren't planning to keep it, or at least keep it in long-term ideas. Now, a big part of this too, as no one has really confirmed anything, a big part of Chicagoland staying long-term is, one, obviously people got to watch on TV, but that is very hit or miss for any NASCAR race nowadays. And if it's in these 10 races of Prime and TNT, you're not going to get very good viewership. The other thing though, people need to show up. All right, I was there in 2019, 18, all the way back to 07. And really, for NASCAR standards of the time, each time, the race really has not been a top tier event to be at since 2009 for the standards of any of the times. Now, there is the option, I believe, of Chicago's street course coming back in 2027. And I would think you'd only have one track in the area you'd use. I get that, yeah, North Carolina has like 1 million that we're using right now. But at the same time, I really don't see the Chicago market being able to hold 2 races. Now, one other thing I want to point out, and it's just a small little thing, but it was from Dale Earnhardt Jr. But Dale Earnhardt Jr., when he was quote tweeting Jeff Gluck's tweet about these big 2026 changes, said this, and this ain't the last big domino to fall, I hear. Now, a lot of people have theorized this means North Wilkesboro will get a points race in place of the Bristol Spring Race. I question this a little bit because, for one, it sounded like North Wilkesboro will get the All-Star race at least for next year, and 2027 was more than likely when we would get any news on a points race at the old facility. Now, a lot of people said, well, if that does happen, we move Rockingham to the All-Star race. Well, the problem with Rockingham is that the future of the facility is up in the air. Yeah, it ran a very good and successful weekend with the 2 lower series, but it is, if I'm not mistaken, for sale. And also, those that ran the last weekend might be those who could run it by, who knows? We don't know what it entails. Others have talked about the possibility of maybe going to Montreal. That's something that's really been pushed, and I wouldn't mind that. It's a nice area. It's an area with a lot of NASCAR fans, and I think the Canadian NASCAR fan base deserves to have a cup race. I really do. So let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of the possibilities of these different dates coming on? Are you excited? Do you think that people are moving too quick, or are you just like, screw it, I'll just wait till it comes out? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel for more great and fun NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all my channel members for your continued support. And be sure to watch NWP tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time on Eric Estepp's channel. Going to be a lot of fun. 8 p.m. Eastern time, again, is the start time for that. So until then, have a good one.